Hi everybody, this is our Unit 3 Systems of Linear Equations review. So as I go through each of these, I don't intend to stop in between. This is purely meant as you have tried every question and now we're checking answers. So I do plan on talking through each question. I do not expect you to listen to every question. It would be nice if you have attempted every question to really use this as a kind of like a live check of all of your work. So if you have one fully completed, jump to the answer. If our answers match and the work matches, you don't need to listen to that question. Move on to the next one. And then let's say you check number 2, you jump to the answer and we don't match, then you do want to rewind and listen to number 2. That's what I mean. All right, cool. Let's get started with number 1. It says y equals 3x minus 4, y equals 4x. I recognize this from my real world work as a break even in the sense that they're both set equal to y. So if we're comfortable, I'm 100% okay with you realizing that this is a special case where we can set these equal and solve. If you don't see that you can do this, then please realize that when one or more equation is solved for y, this really is a substitution question where we can set up solve, first sub, and second sub. And I will run it through this setup and then show you the connection to what I had written and erased before. So both of these are already solved for y. It doesn't matter which one I choose for solve. Let's say I say y equals 4x. Next, I'll take the equation I did not use yet, which is the first one, y equals 3x minus 2, put it right here. Let's ask ourselves, do we have something to substitute in for x or for y? Well, when I look here, this says y equals, so I know I have something for y. Where I see y, I will substitute in 4x, and then everything else will come down, equals 3x minus 2. We will now solve for x. We'll say subtract 3x because I'm gathering x's to the same side. 4x minus 3x is x, that's gone, equals negative 2. We found x, we need y. Well, over here we have this equation, y equals 4x in a box. Let's use it. That becomes 4 times negative 2, which gets me y equals negative 8. So my solution is negative 2, comma, negative 8. The connection I was talking about before, where you can just set them equal, that will always happen naturally when you're doing substitution right here. 3x minus 2 is set equal to 4x. So if you are comfortable going right from the setup to this, I'm cool with that. If you're still like, oh, I don't see it, no problem. Go ahead and rely on solve, first sub, second sub, and you will get to the right answer. Number 2. Remember, when one or more of my given equations is solved for x or y, right away, substitution should come to mind. Solve, first sub, second sub. The second equation is already solved for y, so I'll bring that right here. Then we ask ourselves, what equation did we not use yet? We didn't use the top equation. So x minus 2y equals negative 8, lined on the equal sign. Do we have something to sub in for x or for y? Well, this says y equals, so I know that I have something to sub in for y. Housekeeping, move over a little bit to give yourself space to substitute in the negative x minus 2 where y was, and notice I used parentheses. So what we did was, if you're struggling to see it, we substituted in negative x minus 2 where we saw y. And now we're ready to distribute and solve for x. So this becomes x negative 2 times negative x is a positive 2x. And then negative 2 times a negative 2 is a positive 4 equals negative 8. We can combine like terms. X plus 2x is 3x plus 4 equals negative 8. Keep the line going down to equal signs. Subtract 4 from both sides. That gets us 3x equals negative 12. Last step, divide by 3. Divide by 3. X equals negative 4. We've got x, we need y. Over here, we already had this equation that says y equals, so let's use it. Y equals negative x minus 2. Be careful with parentheses. We're going to have negative, and then in parentheses, we're substituting in negative 4 minus 2. Negative, negative becomes a positive. Subtracting 2, we get y equals 2. So our solution here is negative 4, comma 2. Number 3. Number 3 I recognize as being in standard form, meaning ax plus by equals c, ax plus by equals c. So the very first thing I want to look for is inverses, meaning they're the exact same values, just opposites. Negative 5x and a negative 5x are not inverses because they're both negative. It's nice that I have the 5s, but they're both negative. But I look at the 3y's. I have a negative 3y and a positive 3y, so I do have inverses. No work needed. Let's combine and see what happens. I know that my y's are going to cancel, and then my negative 5x minus 5x, that gets me a negative 10x equals 13 minus 23 is negative 10. Divide both sides by negative 10. X equals 1. We've got x equals 1, but we still need y. To do that, we will substitute into one of the original equations, doesn't matter which one. Just be careful that you pull the correct value. Like how you cross these out, that minus might look like a plus. So just be careful. I will choose to work with the first one, so negative 5x minus 3y equals 13. Where I see x, I will substitute in 1. So to solve this, we get negative 5 minus 3y equals 13. We're down to a two-step equation. I will add 5 first to both sides. If there's something we could add or subtract, we always want to do that first. Negative 3y equals 18. Divide each side by negative 3. Y equals negative 6. So the solution for number 3 is 1, comma, negative 6. Just to create a separation. So there's number 3. Taking a look at number 4, I still have standard form, but things are a little different. When I look, this is a negative 6x, but this is not a positive 6x. Here I have a positive 5y, but I don't have a negative 5y. What do we want to cancel? Well, both x and y are equally easy choices. So I think I want my x's to cancel. If I want x to cancel, this is negative 6x. So I can make this positive x a positive 6x by multiplying just the top equation by 6. Next step will be to write our new system. So multiplying the entire top equation by 6, I get 6x plus 30y equals negative 22 times 6. I can just do 22 times 6 and then make the answer negative. I got a negative 132. Now, if you chose to get y's to cancel, that's fine. Follow it all the way through, and we should get the same answer. The second equation, we didn't do anything to, so it stayed the same. We're ready to add these together. My x's will cancel, because 6x minus 6x is 0. 30y minus y is a 29y equals negative 132 plus 16 is negative 116. Divide both sides by 29. Let's see what we get. Negative 116 divided by 29 is negative 4. We've got y, we need x. Does not matter which one we plug into. I choose the first one, so x plus 5y equals negative 22. That becomes x plus 5 times negative 4 is negative 22. X minus 20 equals negative 22. Add 20 to both sides. X equals negative 2. So my solution for number 4, is negative 2, negative 4. Looking at number 5, 2x minus y equals 8, negative 8x plus 4y equals negative 32. Let's talk choices. If I wanted my x's to cancel, the smallest number that 2 and negative 8 go into is what? 16. So not hard, it just means I'd have to multiply both equations by a number. But if I look at my y values, notice this is a positive 4y. I could get this to be a negative 4y just by multiplying the top equation by 4. I already have the negative there. So let's do that, just a little less work. So 4 times 2x is 8x minus 4y equals 32. Remember, you have to multiply every term inside those parentheses by 4. The second equation we did not touch, so that will stay the same. We're ready to add and see if what we hoped would happen happens. X's cancel. But look, the y's cancel as well. My left side is 0. And check this out, 32 minus 32, that also equals 0. Special case. Question, is this true or false? Well, 0 equals 0, so that's true. Which means infinitely many solutions. It means that these are the same line. One line right on top of the other, so every single point is shared. Every point that's on this line is on this line. Same line. Let's talk vocab. Given a line, so we're just talking a single line. A solution is an ordered pair on that line. Any ordered pair or point on the line. So any ordered pair on this line is a solution. Now, given a system of linear equations, which means we have more than one, so it has to be where the two lines intersect. It can't just be any point. So given a system of linear equations, the solution is the point of intersection. It has to be that specific point. In other words, where the two lines intersect. So big difference. Here, when I just have a single line, it could be any ordered pair on that line. Any point on this line counts. But a system, it's just where the two lines intersect, just that single ordered pair. Solving a system of linear equations that results in blank means the lines are parallel. Well, think about special cases. When would this result mean no solution? Not when I have a true statement, but when I have a false statement. So solving a system of equations that results in no solution means the lines are parallel. Solving a system of linear equations that results in blank means the lines intersect. Well, if the lines intersect, I have a single ordered pair. So in one solution, one ordered pair where those lines intersect. And then finally, solving a system of linear equations that results in blank means the lines are the same. Well, look what happened here. The lines are the same in number 5, infinitely many solutions. Means the lines are the same. So a big recap, okay? If you're just given one line, it could be any point on that line. But here, if it's a system, it's just one point, just where they intersect. Big difference. And then here we have a nice recap of our vocab. If it's parallel, it means no solution. If the lines intersect, it means that there's one solution where they cross, where they intersect. And if they're the same, I get infinitely many. If there's any questions on the vocab, please send me a reminder. There will be some vocab questions on the test. Number 11, solve by graphing. Remember, graphing means y equals mx plus b. We're dealing with linear functions. To graph lines, we have to have y equals mx plus b. I'm going to write that neater. What I see happening a lot is that people see that this is y equals, like so one or more is solved for x or y, and like, ooh, substitution. But be careful, the directions clearly say graphing. So to do that, let's take a look at the system. This first one is already solved for y. I know that my slope will be 1 divided by 1, and then b equals 2. We'll use this piece of information first. So I go to 2, plot my y-intercept. My slope means up, rise over run, so up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1, and I'll keep doing this. Remember, the first line, you want to graph as many points as possible because it makes finding the point of intersection easier. So I went up 1, right 1 as many times as I could, and now I'll go down 1, left 1 as many times as I can. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. Using a straight edge, let's graph our line. We've got our first equation set. Now when I look at the second equation, that one is not ready to graph yet. It's not solved for y. So let's do that together. I will add 5x to both sides first, trying to get y by itself. If there's something we could add or subtract, we do that first. So that leaves 2y equals. These are not like terms. So I'm going to write it just as I see it. 5x minus 2, mx, x comes first. But we're not done yet because y is not totally by itself yet. We've got to divide by 2. Divide by 2. Divide each term by 2. We get y equals 5 halves x minus 1. Now we are ready to graph. M is 5 divided by 2. be as -1. So we'll go to -1 and plot our y-intercept. Rise over run, we're going to count rise 5, run 2, up 5, right 2, up 1. So starting at the intercept, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 2. Check that out. There's my point of intersection. Let's just get a couple more points. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 2. If we were not able to count up 5, right 2, you could count down the opposite, down and left. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 2. For the second line, you always want to count in the direction of the other line. Like I could see that if I counted this way, eventually I would hit the line somehow. So it kind of worked out that I automatically went that way. Use a straight edge to graph our line. So we have the point of intersection at 2, 4, and we're done. There's our solution. Number 12. Neither of these is ready to graph quite yet. Let's take them one at a time. So 3y equals -x plus 12. We'll do that one first. It's close. We just need to divide each term by 3 to get y by itself. So that gets us y equals, this becomes -1/3 x plus 4. Keep an eye out for something like this on the test. There will be one that's like that. Recognize this as the fraction that it is. So we've got m equals -1/3, b equals 4. We'll graph our y-intercept first. So I go to 4 and I make my point. Let me use a color to graph. Now we count rise over run, but in this case we're going to go down. So down 1, right 3. This negative only applies to the numerator. If we're going to count, let's go down 1, right 1, 2, 3, down 1, 1, 2, 3, down 1, 1, 2, 3, down. I can't go anymore. Remember, the first line we want to get points in all directions. So now, instead of applying the negative to the numerator, now we'll apply it to the denominator. So we'll mentally do this. So from here, that would be up 1, left 1, 2, 3. Up 1, left 1, 2, 3. Up 1, left 1, 2, 3. That's as many points as we can get. Let's sketch our line. Get a straight edge. One down, one to go. Our other equation is 2x plus 6y equals -12. If there's something we can add or subtract, we always want to do that first. I see that I can subtract over -2x. 6y equals. I can't stress enough the importance of not dropping the variable. If you forget to write x, you'll think, oh, look, like terms, -12 minus 2, -14. No, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. These are not like terms. It gets me -2x minus 12. Now we will divide through by 6. Each term divide by 6. We get y equals -2/6 I can reduce to -1/3 x. And then -12 minus 6 is -2. Awesome, let's graph. I guess I shouldn't use purple for this, so I'll make these blue because I'm about to use purple for the purple one. Okay, so purple, go to -2, plot the y-intercept. Down 1, right 1, 2, 3, because my slope is -1/3. Down 1, right 3, down 1, right 3. Can't go any more in this direction. Up 1, right 3, up 1, 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 1, 2, 3. Can't do any more. I think I made a mistake on this one. Down 1, right 3. There we go. That was looking a little off. What kind of lines are these? They are parallel. And does it make sense that we got parallel lines? Well, let's look at the slopes. The slope of this first line is negative 1/3. The slope of the second line is negative 1/3. So yes, it does make sense that we have parallel lines. Same slope, different y-intercept. So parallel lines, which means no solution. These lines will never intersect. (13) and 14, we're specifically told to use the elimination method. So I notice it's nice. It's already in standard form. Let's check for inverses. You see any? Check this out. X and negative x are already good to go. I'm going to get a line down that equal sign to the best of my ability. Let's add them together and see what happens. X minus x is gone. That's 0. Negative 3y plus 2y. That's like I owed you $3. I pay you back 2. I still owe you $1. Negative 18 plus 10 is negative 8. Divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. And we get y equals 8. It doesn't matter which we plug back into. I'll choose the first one. So x minus 3y equals negative 18. That would become x minus 3 times 8 equals negative 18. X minus 24 equals negative 18. Add 24 to both sides. Oops, line across. That gets us x equals 6. So the solution for number 13 is 6, 8. Be careful. Sometimes people are like, ooh, look, the first one I found, that's x. No, careful. This is y equals 8. So you happen to find y first, and then you found x. So be careful putting them in the right order. 6, 8. Looking at number 14, do we have inverses? Check it out, check it out. What do we think? I don't see any. I mean, this is a positive 2x, but this is not a negative 2x. Here I have a positive 4y, but this is not a negative 4y. Let's decide what we're going to have cancel. Let's say I wanted my y's to cancel. Well, this is a positive 4y. I can get a negative 4y here just multiplying through by 4, which is nice. Rewriting our new system, that becomes 8x minus 4y equals negative 20. Remember, multiply everything on the inside by 4. If you forget to distribute 4 to this last term, the rest of it's going to come out wrong. So watch that, okay? The second equation we didn't touch, so that's negative x plus 4y equals negative 8. And now we're ready to linearly combine these. Let's see what happens. My y's cancel because negative 4y plus 4y is 0. It's gone. 8x minus x is 7x. Remember, this is a 1x, so like 8x minus 1x is 7x. Negative 20 minus 8 is going to be a bigger negative, negative 28. Divide by 7. Divide by 7. X equals negative 4. We've got x, we need y. It does not matter which equation we plug into. Not just for fun, let's plug into the second one. Doesn't matter which one. Personally, I would probably recommend the top one if you're working, because this negative x might throw some people. They may make a mistake with the signs, but it's for that reason that I will work with the second one. Just in case you did too, I want to make sure you're you're A-okay with the negative x. So negative x plus 4y equals negative 8 is what I'm going to substitute into. This would become a negative 4. plus 4y equals negative 8. That negative was built into the original equation. You are substituting in a negative, so that's where the double negative comes from. Becomes a positive 4 plus 4y equals negative 8. Subtract 4 from both sides. We get 4y equals negative 12. Divide by 4, divide by 4. That gets us y equals negative 3, and we're all done. So my solution for, this is number 14. The solution for number 14 is negative 4, comma, negative 3. This is where the two lines would intersect. That's why we're calling it our solution. So there's 13 and 14. Taking a look at 15, notice substitution. So right away, we should think solve. First sub. Second sub. I might not be able to fit second sub there. I don't want to crowd this question. We'll see how it goes. It's nice because this one is already solved for x. So right away for my solve step, I have something to write already. X equals 4y minus 3, and no work involved. Put it in a box. We have not used negative 2x plus y equals negative 1 yet, so we're going to use that right now. Housekeeping, move over a little bit. Ask yourself, do I have something to sub in for x or y? Well, this says x equals. So where we see x, that's where we're going to do our substitution. Moving over, this becomes negative 2 times 4y minus 3, and then I bring down the plus y equals negative 1. Just to make it obvious what we just plugged in, where we saw x, we substituted in 4y minus 3. Now we're just going to use our algebra skills. Distributing negative 2, this is a negative 8y plus 6 plus y equals negative 1. Combining like terms, negative 8y plus y is a negative 7y plus 6 equals negative 1. Subtract 6 from both sides. Negative 7y equals negative 7. Divide by negative 7, divide by negative 7. Y equals positive 1. I'm going to fit my second sub in this space right here. We've got y, we need x. Well, this already says x equals 4y minus 3, so let's use that. That will become 4 times 1 minus 3. That's 4 minus 3, so x equals 1 also. So our solution for 15 is 1, 1. Let's take a look at number 16. Again, I am told substitution, so my first step will be solve. When I look, neither of these is solved for x or y. You might be saying, like, wait, Ms. J, I saw one, and I would agree that one of these is close, but it is not ready for you to use yet. I'm thinking everybody's attention is drawn to this first one, negative y equals 3x plus 5. But why am I saying we can't use it yet? See that negative? We need to divide everything by negative 1 before we can say it's all set. That gets me y equals negative 3x minus 5. Now I have one solved for x or y. In this case, solved for y. Let's work on the first sub. We're going to use the equation we have not used yet, which is this one. Ask yourself, do you have something to sub in for x or for y? Well, when I look, this says y equals. So when I write my equation, 4x minus 2y equals 0, I realize, and you can use a highlighter on your test, I have something to sub in for y. Okay, so 4x minus 2 parenthesis, now I'll write negative 3x minus 5, close it, equals 0. Again, to make it very obvious what we just did, where we saw y, we substituted in negative 3x minus 5. Now I have an expression completely in terms of x, and I can solve for x using my algebra skills. Distributing negative 2, this becomes 4x plus 6x plus 10 equals 0. Combine like terms. This becomes 10x plus 10 equals 0. We'll subtract 10 from both sides. X equals negative 10. All that's left is to divide both sides by 10, and we get x equals negative 1. We've got x, we need y. Remember, with our solve step, we already have an equation that says y equals, so for the second sub, let's use it. We're going to use y equals negative 3x minus 5. We just substituted in negative 1 for x. Still have a minus 5 right there. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. Minus 5, y equals negative 2. So our solution for 16 is negative 1, comma, negative 2. It's where the two lines intersect. 17 and 18 say, choose your method and solve. So when I look, this is in standard form. I check no inverses here. The closest I could get would be a 12 and a negative 12. I'd have to multiply both equations to get x's to cancel. Take a look at the y's. Here I have a negative 2y. I could multiply this top equation by 2, and I'd get my y's to cancel. So let's do that. Let's rewrite the system. This becomes 6x plus 2y equals 14. Second equation we didn't touch. Leave that one alone. Ready to add them? The y's cancel. Positive 2y and a negative 2y cancel. 6x plus 4x is 10x. 14 plus 6 is 20. Divide by 10, divide by 10. X equals 2. Remember, if you chose to get the x's to cancel, we should get the same answer in the end. We're just going about it different ways. I've got x, I need y. Doesn't matter which one you choose to substitute into. I think I'll just choose the top one. This becomes 3 times 2 plus y equals 7. 6 plus y equals 7. Subtract 6. Subtract 6. Y equals 1. The solution for 17, 2 comma 1. Number 18 is interesting. I see that it's standard form, but did anybody notice something that has to happen first? Need to rearrange to line up like terms. Have to do that first. Notice, do the x's line up? No. Do the y's line up? No. We usually lead with x, so let's rearrange the first one. That would become negative 4x minus 6y equals 1. Now, again, I didn't do any math. I just reordered it, so x came first. Leaving the second equation alone. Check that out. How nice. I actually have inverses right away. My x's will cancel. Negative 6y minus 2y is negative 8y equals 1 plus 15 is 16. Divide by negative 8. Divide by negative 8. Y equals negative 2. Doesn't matter which we substitute into. I choose the second one. So 4x minus 2y equals 15. Where we see y, we will substitute in a negative 2, making sure we use parentheses. That becomes 4x plus 4 equals 15. We'll subtract 4 from both sides. X equals 11. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. We do get a decimal answer for this one. 11 divided by 4 is what? What'd you get? I got 2.75. So putting these together, our answer is 2.75, comma, negative 2. Awesome. Let's move on to real world. I recommend having 2 color highlighters. I will be using highlighters here in the answer key. You have highlighters available to you tomorrow during the test. There are 24 questions on a test. Each question is either worth 5 points or 4 points. There's a total of 100 points on this test. How many 5-point questions are there, and how many 4-point questions are there? First step, always underline the question. The fact that I'm being asked how many of each kind, right away I know ax plus by equals c system, which means that I can get my variables right from the question. It says how many 5-point questions are there? So x equals number of 5-point questions. And how many 4-point questions? So y equals number of 4-point questions. We want to mentally gather what goes together. The first thing that stuck out to me was points. So I'll going to make that yellow for me. Total of 100 points on the test. Each question is either worth 5 points or 4 points. So my first system equation is going to all be about points. So 5 points times the number of 5-point questions plus 4 points times the number of 4-point questions equals total points, which is 100. Everything in yellow is now off limits. It's been used. So what other piece have we not used yet? Well, we haven't used that there are 24 questions total on the test. Whenever your variables are defined as number, expect there to be an equation about, in this case, number of questions or like number of items. So the number of 5-point questions, which is x, oh, let me catch up on my highlighting. The number of 5-point questions, x, plus the number of 4-point questions, y, equals, I just noticed a typo, it's supposed to be 4y, sorry about that. Okay, try that again. Number of 5-point questions, which is x, plus the number of 4-point questions, which is y, equals how many questions total on this test? Tells me 24. We have our system, and now it's time to solve. Now, on the test, if I don't ask you one or the other, I would go straight up elimination. But if you notice the next couple, it has you practicing both, because frankly, I want you doing so many substitution and so many elimination practice questions that you solve these just as easy as you would solve for y equals mx plus b. And that just comes with practice, practice, practice. So let's say you wanted to use substitution. Steps don't change. Solve. First sub. Second sub. Space is your friend. Spread them out. For solve, neither of these is solved for x or y, but this one is nice to work with, the most user-friendly. So x plus y equals 24. Line down the equal sign. Just for fun, let's solve it for x. Either is a good choice, but I just want to try this. So if you solve for y, jump ahead and see if we got the same answer. You could have written this 24 minus y or negative y plus 24. Just in case anybody chose to write it as negative y plus 24, that's what I'm going to do. It shouldn't affect our work. Same as. Same thing, okay? We're going to go use the equation we have not used yet, which is the first one. Do we have something to substitute in for x or for y? Well, if I go look, let's take a look. This says x equals. So I know I have something to substitute in for x. Housekeeping, move over. So this becomes 5 times negative y plus 24. So this is what we just subbed in. Everything else came down. The 5 is still there. The positive 4y is still there, equals 100. 5 times a negative y is negative 5y. 5 times a positive 24, positive 120. Bring down that 4y, don't forget it, equals 100. Combining like terms, negative 5y plus 4y is a negative y plus 120 equals 100. Subtract 120 from both sides. Negative y equals negative 20. Not done. Got to divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. Y equals 20. We've got y, we need x, so second sub. We've got this awesome equation over here that says x equals, so let's use it. So negative, and then in parentheses, 20 plus 24. That's negative 20 plus 24. X equals 4. All right, we'll talk about the real world meaning in a sec. Let's work on this using elimination. And if we did our job right by substitution, we should get the exact same answer, just a totally different way. So 5x plus 4y equals 100. X plus y equals 24. All right, you want x's to cancel or y's to cancel? Miss J chooses x's. So this is a positive 5x. And by the way, the reason I chose so quick, it's equally easy to get x's to cancel or y's to cancel. If you wanted the y's to cancel, multiply through by negative 4. For me, I want x's to cancel, so I will multiply through by negative 5. Didn't touch the top equation. That stays. 5x plus 4y equals 100. Bottom equation becomes negative 5x minus 5y equals negative 5 times 24 is a negative 120. Line down, line across. X's cancel. I get negative y equals negative 20. Divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. Y equals 20. We need to go find x. My most user-friendly equation is the second one. X plus y equals 24. That becomes x plus 20 equals 24. Subtract 20. Do we match? X equals 4, x equals 4, y equals 20, y equals 20. Look how much shorter elimination was. I mean, substitution is great. Love it. But when we have a standard form system, I would say this was more direct. On a test, if I didn't tell you which one and you chose to go substitution, no problem. Mathematically, 100% good to go. Make your choice. Part C, what does your solution mean? If I look, x equals 4. X is the number of 5-point questions, so there are 4 5-point questions. And then y is 20, and y represents 4-point questions. And 20 4-point questions on the test. That says test. Didn't mean to erase that much. There are 4. Come on, cooperate. All right. There are 4 5-point questions and 20 4-point questions. Just wanted to rewrite one word, but Smartboard is not cooperating, so I will rewrite. And we're done. We have our meaning. If I didn't ask for a complete sentence, I would be totally cool with you putting your labels right here, or labels right here, and calling it a day. But the consensus, we've proven it 2 ways. That's our solution. Number 20, buying a car. Suppose you are thinking of buying a car. Buying one of 2 cars, to be exact. Car A will cost you $17,655. You can expect to pay an average of $1,230 per year for fuel, maintenance, and repairs. Car B will cost you $15,900. Fuel and maintenance and repairs will average $1,495 per year. After, here's your question, after how many years are the total costs the same for both cars? Right away, that tells me y equals mx plus b. I don't want to write it there. Y equals mx plus b system. So as soon as I know I've got that, I'm looking for per, each, or every. I'm seeing a cost of the car and then a maintenance per year. So I know x is going to be number of years. Do not write per year. X is number of years. And then what total is being discussed here? We're talking about the total cost. Got my variables. Now we're ready to write our system. With y equals mx plus b systems, we are always comparing 2 things. Here, I see that we're talking about 2 cars, car A and car B. So in yellow, I'm going to go highlight everything I find out about car A. So if I look, I'm told car A will cost this much money, and you can expect to pay an average of this much on fuel, maintenance, and repairs per year. Everything in yellow is about car A, and we're going to use it to write our y equals mx plus b. You pay for the car once, so $17,655 is what you pay, plus how much per year? $1,230 per year. That's why it gets X, $1,230X. Let's go find out what we know about car B. I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to make car B blue. Car B will cost $15,900. Fuel maintenance and repairs will average $14.95 per year. Everything in yellow is off limits. It's been used. We're going to write the car B equation with everything we highlighted in blue. Cost of the car is $15,900 plus $14.95 per year. We have our system. To solve it, I'm hoping we see straight away they're both solved for y. We will set car A equal to car B, and we will solve. If you're not comfortable with this setup, go ahead and use solve first sub, second sub. You will get the same answer. Remember that we have a goal of getting all of our x terms to one side and numbers to the other. So goal is x equals a number. If I just want x's on the left, this 17,655, it can't stay. There's no x right there. And I will choose to write it under its like term on this side. Line all the way across. I get 1230x is left here. In the calculator, 15,900 minus 17,655. I got a negative 17,655. And I just bring down this 1495x. Haven't dealt with that yet. On this side, I just want numbers. So this bad boy over here with the x can't stay. Subtract it over. Minus 1495x minus 1495x. Line all the way across. That's gone. On the left, 1230x minus 1495x is negative 265x equals divide by negative 265, divide by negative 265. I got x equals 7. 7 what? Well, when I look, x equals 7, excuse me, x equals number of years. So after how many years are the total costs the same? After 7 years. Now the question only asked us when, after how many years are the costs the same? We found that and we're done. It didn't say what is that equal cost. So if you've answered the question, we can move on. Part C says, what does your solution mean about the situation? Well, we'll take the question and turn it into a sentence. After how many years are the total costs the same for both cars? After 7 years. The cost, or total cost if you want to be super clear, the total cost is the same. So at exactly the 7-year mark, the cost of owning each car is the same. So if you mentally went into this, I'm going to own this car for 7 years and sell it, it does not matter which car you buy. And I realized I'm just working off my notes. I didn't get exactly 7. At first, this was x equals 6.62 years, and I rounded to 7. Apologies that I jumped that step. We're asked for actual years, so that's why we rounded to 7. All right, let's talk about Part D. If you want to keep the car for 10 years, which should you buy? So we're going to take our two equations and use them. So first for car A, this will be y equals 17. I'm just using the equation, plus 1230 per year, but now we know that we're talking 10 years. So that'll be 17,655 plus 1,230 times 10 is 12,300, which comes out to be $29,955. So that's how much it is for car A after 10 years. Now let's see car B. Car B, we get y equals 15,900 plus 1,495 times 10. That's 15,900 plus 14,950. So car B for 10 years is $30,850. So let's answer the question. If you want to keep the car for 10 years, which should you buy? We would want to go with the cheaper cost. So car A, and here's the math to prove it. So you could write a sentence, choose car A because its cost is cheaper, or double box it, somehow indicate to me that you know based on the math that car A is a better choice. 21. Martel is buying tickets online for a Drake concert. Standing tickets cost $120 and seats in the balcony cost $150. A total of 3,000 tickets were sold and the total revenue was $414,000. How many of each kind of ticket was sold? As soon as I see how many of each, I know that this is an AX plus BY equals C system. So that tells me that I will get my variables right from the question. X equals Y equals. How many of each kind? So number, right away. How many of each? What are the two kinds? Well, if I read, we've got standing tickets, so I'll make X number of standing tickets. And then balcony, so Y equals number of balcony tickets. If you reversed how you define them, when it's a standard form system, it won't matter. But just make sure you keep things together the right way. Now that we have our variables defined, we need to mentally group what goes together. The first thing that jumped out to me was discussion of price. So I know that I will have one that's about money. I'm going to make that one yellow. So I'm going to go read everything I can find out about money. Standing tickets cost $120, and seats in the balcony cost $150. Now I'm looking for total cost or total revenue, revenue was a total of $414,000. Everything in yellow becomes an equation. Standing tickets are $120. So that's $120 times X plus $150 times Y equals total revenue. Total revenue is $414,000. Everything in yellow is now off limits. We've already used it to write this equation. What other piece of information have we not used yet? Well, I see a total of 3,000 tickets were sold. That's talking total number. Or number of items, different ways to call it. That's going to be blue for me. So that means the number of standing tickets, X, plus the number of balcony tickets, Y, equals a total number of 3,000. Number plus number equals total number. This is a standard form system. Choose X or Y to cancel. I choose X personally, but we should get the same answer, so if you chose Y, no problem. For X to cancel, this is a positive 120. I need this to be a negative 120, so I will multiply my second equation by negative 120. I didn't touch the top, so that's 120X plus 150Y still equals 414,000. The second equation becomes negative 120X minus 120Y equals 3,000 times negative 120. That's negative 360,000. Line down, line across. When we add these, 120x minus 120x is 0. 150y minus 120y is a positive. Is positive 30y. And then in my calculator, I'll do 414,000 minus 360,000 is 54,000. Divide by 30, divide by 30. We get y equals 1,800. 1,800 what? We go look, y is balcony, so 1,800 balcony tickets. To find x, the most user-friendly equation is the second one. X plus y equals 3,000 becomes x plus 1,800 equals 3,000. Subtract 1,800 from both sides. X equals 3,000 minus 1,800, and we get 1,200. And again, 1,200 what? I go look, x is standing, so 1,200 standing. Tickets. Number 22. John and his friends are going to Florida over April vacation. They decide to spend the day at Blizzard Beach, a water park. The park has two payment options. Package A costs $6 to get in the park and 75 cents per ride. Package B costs $4 to get in and $1.25 per ride. Which package should they purchase and why? Support your decision with numerical data from solving a linear system. Clearly, we're comparing two things, which is better. So I know it's a y equals mx plus b system. Before you can give advice on which is better, you have to know when they're the same. But our first steps never change. We'll define our variables first. I see per ride present throughout. So I know x is going to be number of rides. And once you know how many rides you've been on, you know your total cost, your total expense. What are the two things being compared at this park? We've got two different packages. We've got package A and package B. For me, I'll make package A yellow. And I'm going to go look for everything I know about package A. Package A is $6 to get in and 75 cents per ride. So $6 flat to get in and 75 cents per ride. That's my rate, 0.75x. Next, we'll go look for package B. I'll make that blue. Package B is $4 to get in and $1.25 per ride. So that's $4 to get in plus $1.25 per ride. We're now ready to figure out when these will be equal. So we'll set 6 plus 0.75x equal to 4 plus 1.25x and solve. We're trying, remember our goal is x equals a number. So anything that does not have an x cannot stay on this side. So I choose to move 6 first. I write it under what it's like terms with. Line all the way across, that's gone. Bring down our 0.75x. 4 minus 6 is negative 2 plus 1.25x. On this side, I just want numbers. So negative 2 is fine. This term with the x is not. So I got to subtract 1.25x from both sides. That's gone. 0.75x minus 1.25x, we get 0.5x, but it's negative, equals negative 2. Move the goal out of the way. Last but not least, divide by negative 0.5. Divide by negative 0.5. I know that negative divided by negative is positive, so I get x equals 4. If I'm not sure what 4 represents, when I go look, x was number of rides. So x equals 4 rides is when they're the same. When both packages are the same. Excuse me. To answer when one is better than the other, we have to choose more or less. So let's say you want to go 10 times. So let's compare package A to package B. Package A, that would be y equals 6 plus 0.75 times 10. 0.75 times 10 is 750. Plus 6. $13.50. So that's package A for 10 rides. Let's see what package B costs for the same number. That'll be y equals 4 plus 1.25 times 10. 4 plus 1250. Which is cheaper? This one comes out cheaper. We picked an arbitrary, a random number bigger than 4, and package A came out cheaper, which means that for any number of rides over 4, you should pick package A. So the advice is any or more than 4 rides, choose package A. So this is the key when you're asked to give advice. First, find when they're equal, and then choose a random number, either bigger or smaller, And then based on your data that you get, your math work, you are able to support why you would recommend one or the other. That wraps up our review. I lied. One more. Picture day. Your parents want the best deal for pictures, so they turn to you for help. The Photo Studio has 2 packages. See, your parents know that you're these awesome system solvers. Photo Studio has 2 packages. Package A has 30 wallet-sized photos and 1 8x10 portrait and costs $17.65. Package B has 15 wallet-sized photos and 3 8x10 portraits for $23.70. What is the cost of each type of picture? What is the cost of each type? Right away, I know AX plus BY equals C system. From the question, I know what my variables are. Right away, I know it'll be cost and cost because it says cost of each type. What are the 2 types? I've got wallet size and 8x10 portrait. Now that I have my variables, let's gather what goes together. We are comparing We are comparing 2 packages. We are comparing package A and package B. I will make package A yellow for me. Package B is blue. Let's go gather information. Package A, 30 wallet-sized photos, 1 8x10, cost that much. Package B, 15 wallet-sized, 3 portraits, cost that much. So now we just need to use what we highlighted and build our system. So 30 wallet-sized, 30x, plus 1 portrait costs $17.65. And then package B, 15 wallet plus 3 8x10s equals that much. $23.70. We have our system. Let's decide what's going to cancel. For me, the y's jump out. This is a positive 3y. So I'm going to multiply this by -3. I get negative 90x minus 3y equals 1765. Let me look at my notes. 1765 times -3, I got negative 52. Oops. 95. I didn't need to touch the second equation. That stays. 15x plus 3y equals 2370. Line down, line across. The y's cancel. Negative 90x plus 15x is a negative 75x. Negative 5295 plus 2370 is negative 29.25. I will now divide both sides by negative 75, which is good that we've got all these negatives, because otherwise, if I didn't get negative divided by a negative as a positive, I would need to go back and look, because we shouldn't be getting negative answers with real-world questions. I got 0.39. To know what that means, well, C will ask us for a sentence, but let's say you weren't asked a follow-up question like that. I'd go back up and it says cost of wallet size, so 39 cents each wallet size costs 39 cents. To figure out how much the portraits cost, take one of them. I choose the first. If you chose the second, we should get the same answer. So that's 30 times 0.39 plus y equals 17.65. 30 times 0.39, I get 11.7 plus y. To wrap this up, we will subtract 11.7 from both sides. Y equals 595. Put it all together for a sentence. Each wallet size, however you want to say it, costs in the 8x10 portraits are $5.95 each. So that's just taking our answers and just putting them into a sentence form. Now we are officially done. Congratulations. I hope that this was helpful. Please, again, I hope that you were able to kind of jump and use this as an interactive answer key to check the work you've done. Any questions or something that's not coming out right for you, or if you think that our work doesn't match and you're not sure why, please send me a question on Remind. I'll be checking often. Also, don't forget about the multiple choice review part as well. And happy studying. I'll be looking for your questions on Remind. Have a great day.